Have you ever found yourself wondering why certain women seem to effortlessly captivate a man's attention, as if they're surrounded by an invisible force he simply cannot resist? It's not about looks nor charm in the conventional sense. There's something else, something deeper, older, and far more powerful. And if you've ever felt the sting of confusion when a man suddenly pulls away, or the ache of giving your best and still not being chosen, then what I'm about to share might change everything. But before we dive deeper, I want you to take a moment. If these words are resonating with you, if you've ever felt that quiet pain of not being seen fully by a man, then I want you to subscribe to this channel right now. Not just so you don't miss the next part of this journey, but as a declaration, you're ready to awaken to something far greater within you. And yes, I want you to do one more thing. Go to the comments right now and write, "This happened to me." If you've ever felt like you gave your heart, your care, your soul to a man and he still drifted away, share it below, because your story matters. And you might find that thousands of other women have walked the same road. Now keep watching, because there is a message near the end of this video that is absolutely crucial. It might be the piece you've been waiting for without even knowing it. Let me tell you a truth that very few people dare to speak out loud. The power to draw in a man, not just physically, but soul deep, is already inside you. It has nothing to do with pretending, nothing to do with tricks. It's about unlocking a presence, one that touches the very center of his being. That's what we'll uncover today, and in the next few minutes, you'll begin to understand how. You see, what truly binds a man's desire isn't found in what you wear or what you say. It's found in how you make him feel. There are women who enter a room and something shifts. Men straighten up. They listen more intently. It's almost as if the air itself leans in. These women aren't chasing anyone. They're not begging for love. They are love. They radiate something that calls to the deepest part of a man, and that's something. Carl Jung had a name for it, and that's exactly where we're heading next. Let's begin to unravel the mystery Jung discovered in the mind of every man, the anima. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, believed that every man carries within him an unconscious image of the ideal feminine. He called it the anima. This isn't just a fantasy or preference, it's an ancient archetype, built layer by layer from early experiences, emotional imprints, stories, symbols, and even inherited memories passed down through generations. It's not something he's aware of, and yet it quietly shapes who he is drawn to, often without logic or explanation. When a man encounters a woman who resonates with this inner image, something profound occurs. It's more than attraction. It's recognition, a sense that she isn't just another person, but somehow familiar, as if he's known her forever. You might have felt this too when you've looked into someone's eyes and without words you knew there was something more. That moment, that strange yet undeniable knowing, is what Jung referred to as archetypal recognition. Now here's where it becomes truly powerful for you. That inner image, the anima, isn't based on perfection. It's not about being flawless or matching some ideal standard of beauty. In fact, it often has nothing to do with what society tells us is desirable. Instead, it's about energy, essence. A woman who touches his anima speaks to a part of him he doesn't understand, but deeply longs to explore. And when that part is activated, it awakens not only desire, but devotion. But this isn't something that can be faked or forced. You can't become someone else's anima by pretending. The secret lies in learning how to embody aspects of this archetype consciously, not as a role, but as a natural extension of who you already are. You see, men aren't obsessed with the superficial. They become obsessed with the woman who stirs something within. That something is often unspoken, invisible, but deeply felt. A mystery, a reflection, a mirror of his own soul's feminine half. And it's through you that he begins to reconnect with it. This is why some women, without even realizing it, hold such power over men. They reflect back to him the part of himself he can't quite name, and once he senses it, he can't look away. He can't walk away. Because he doesn't just want you, he wants what he becomes in your presence. And now that you understand the anima and its role in the male psyche, let's explore exactly how you can begin to activate that energy and channel it genuinely, powerfully and with full awareness. Now that you understand the concept of the anima, that inner image of the feminine which lives in every man's unconscious, we begin the journey into activation. You see, there is a way to awaken this deep resonance within him, not by forcing, not by seducing in the shallow sense, but by aligning your presence with his inner truth. Through my work with Jungian theory and practical observation, I've identified 5 distinct paths. Each one is a thread that, when woven together, creates a powerful energetic field that draws a man toward you, not through need, but through instinct. The first is what I call receptive presence. True feminine power is not loud or demanding. It doesn't chase, instead it receives. Imagine yourself not as a void waiting to be filled, but as a chalice overflowing. A man senses this. He instinctively feels that your presence offers safety, depth, and space. Space for him to pour himself into, not just with words, but with his essence. When you cultivate that kind of presence, strong, still, open, it speaks directly to his anima. It pulls his energy toward you like a tide. The second path is multi-level communication. The anima doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in symbols, feelings, subtle signs. When you engage with a man not just mentally, but emotionally and even intuitively, you create layers of connection that few people ever reach. This means learning to speak in metaphor, allowing moments of silence, using story, touch, tone, and imagery that bypass his analytical mind and touch something deeper. It's not manipulation, it's resonance. The third path is mirroring the shadow. Every man carries a hidden part of himself, the shadow. These are aspects he denies, represses, or fears. When you become the person who sees his shadow without flinching, who holds space for both his light and his darkness, a profound trust is born. He feels seen in a way he never has before. And with that, something primal within him begins to bond with you fiercely, protectively, obsessively. The fourth path is sacred polarity. True attraction thrives on contrast, on the interplay between masculine and feminine energies. This is not about playing roles, but embodying the energetic dance. When you rest in your feminine, however that looks for you, you amplify his masculinity. The spark between you is not created, it's uncovered. And the fifth path, initiation into mystery. The anima is the keeper of mystery. When you live as a woman who is always unfolding, always deepening, always evolving, you keep his fascination alive. He doesn't want to solve you. He wants to discover you again and again. And as we step forward, I'll show you how to turn this theory into practice, how to shift from knowledge to embodiment, and become the magnetic force that draws his deepest energy toward you. Everything begins within you. Before you can touch the deepest layers of a man's being, you must first reconnect with your own. Because the truth is, you cannot awaken his energy if yours lies dormant. You cannot magnetize another if you are not fully present in your own body, your own power, your own life force. This is where so many women unknowingly block their magnetism. They've been taught to suppress their sensuality, to separate sexuality from spirituality, to fear their own depth. But the feminine energy that awakens obsession in a man is not external. It's not in your looks, your outfit, or your words. It lives in how fully you inhabit yourself. That presence, that aliveness, is what radiates outward and calls his soul home. So, let's start here, with you. Each morning, take a moment to come back to your body. Before the world rushes in, place your hand gently over your lower belly, your center of creation, of intuition, of feminine power. Breathe into that space. Feel your breath travel downward, anchoring you. Visualize a golden light expanding. From that center, filling your body from within. This isn't a performance, it's a remembering, a returning. With time, this simple practice begins to shift your energy field. You move through your day differently, and men feel it. They may not understand why they're drawn to you, but they are. You'll notice a subtle power rising, a softness paired with strength. You'll find yourself no longer needing to prove or pursue, because now you attract, not by force, but by frequency. You become a vessel that holds space. And that space is irresistible to the masculine. But it's not only about stillness, it's about joy. It's about allowing pleasure back into your life, not in grand, extravagant ways, but in the smallest moments. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the taste of your favorite tea, the sound of your own laughter. Sensuality is simply the art of feeling. And when you feel fully, you awaken fully. A man will respond to this, not because you're doing something to him, but because you've come alive within yourself. That's the energy that reaches into his subconscious and pulls him towards you, not with noise, but with presence. And now that you've begun to activate your inner magnetism, we move into the sacred space where connection deepens, where energy fuses, where love becomes alchemical. Now that your own energy is awakened, you're ready to enter a space far more powerful than attraction alone, the space where something truly transformational can take root. Carl Jung called it the conjunctio, the sacred union of opposites. In ancient alchemical texts, it was the mystical merging of sun and moon, of king and queen, of masculine and feminine. But what does this mean in the context of your relationship with a man? It means that when two people meet, not just physically, but energetically and spiritually, something far greater than chemistry is born. A bond begins to form that doesn't just arouse. It expands, elevates, evolves. This is where desire turns into devotion, where lust transforms into a living current of inspiration, where obsession becomes sacred. This level of connection doesn't come from performing a role. It's born from your willingness to embody both the known and unknown within yourself. You become the mystery and the mirror, a woman who is ever unfolding, never static. This unpredictability, this dance between certainty and revelation, is what keeps a man captivated, not with anxiety, but with reverence. Because he senses that every time he's with you, he's discovering a new layer of himself. In moments of intimacy, whether emotional, physical, or spiritual, practice this conscious polarity. Move between stillness and expression, between listening and revealing, between holding and surrendering. It's not a game, it's a flow. One moment you ground him with your presence, the next you awaken him with your fire. This dynamic creates a kind of energetic fusion that is profoundly stimulating to the masculine psyche. He begins to associate you not only with desire, but with awakening. Your presence becomes a catalyst, a space in which he doesn't just feel pleasure, he feels possibility. And that is rare, that is magnetic, that is unforgettable. This is how the obsessive energy is born, not from insecurity or manipulation, but from alignment. His sexual energy, when met with your depth, is no longer scattered or restless. It finds purpose. It begins to orbit around you, not because you demand it, but because you embody the very thing it longs to serve. Jung saw this as the true power of romantic relationship, a sacred ground where both souls evolve. But it only happens when both are willing to reveal the hidden, to hold the uncomfortable, and to love not just the light but the shadow. And that's where we're headed next. Because the shadow, his and yours, is not something to fear. It is the final gateway to the kind of connection that endures, deepens, and transforms everything. To truly awaken and channel a man's energy is not about control. It is about consciousness. It is the art of becoming whole within yourself, so that your connection with him becomes a mirror, not a mask, a field of reflection, not projection. And yes, this path is beautiful, but it is also demanding, because to walk it, you must face yourself. As you begin working with these powerful forces, sexual energy, polarity, shadow, archetype, you'll start to notice subtle shifts. Men may respond to you differently. You might feel their attention linger, their presence sharpen, their desire deepen. But more importantly, you will feel different. You'll feel more grounded, more alive, more connected to the vast intelligence within your own body and soul. However, along with this awakening comes responsibility. Jung warned us, anytime we open the door to the unconscious, both light and shadow will step through. You may be confronted by your own wounds, your own patterns, your own forgotten truths, and the same will happen for him. That's why the sacred container you create matters so deeply. It must be one of compassion, of truth, of mutual evolution. This is not a fairy tale. It is something far more valuable, a journey. And on this path there will be moments of intensity, even discomfort. But there will also be extraordinary beauty. Because as you begin to embody your full self, as you embrace not only your light but your shadow, you become the most magnetic version of yourself. And when a man meets you there, not as a fantasy, but as a reflection of his own depth, his obsession becomes not toxic, but transformative. He doesn't cling to you because he's afraid. He chooses you again and again because he feels expanded in your presence. He feels home. This is not a power you hold over a man. It is a power you awaken within yourself. And as you claim it, something ancient stirs. The feminine energy that once ruled not with dominance but with depth returns. So, if this message has stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with other women, sisters, who may also be longing to reconnect with this hidden truth. Let them remember too, because this is more than attraction. It is legacy. And as I promised at the beginning, here's the final message. You were never meant to chase love. You were meant to become it. You were never meant to beg for devotion. You were meant to inspire it. Your power has always been waiting. Now, awaken.